Hello everyone, welcome to Clickheads. I'm Eddie the Chump. Today we're going to be talking about Valorant's upcoming ranked mode, how it works to place you accurately, and some cosmetic but impactful changes coming to Omen gleaned from Riot Morello's stream yesterday. I've been really looking forward to a ranked variant of Valorant. I'm sure many of you have too, so let's just get straight into the juicy info. Let's begin with the brief summary that Riot themselves have given us before getting into the nitty-gritty. To play ranked, you must first complete 20 unrated matches to unlock competitive mode. There are 8 ranks, 3 tiers each, except the top rank, Valorant. You can queue with up to 5 player parties, but you must be within 2 ranks. Your rank isn't displayed if competitive matches aren't played within 14 days, but your rank doesn't decay behind the scenes, and your closed beta rank does not carry over to launch. Some pretty standard stuff there. Having to complete matches of unrated before you jump in is a pretty good idea. This means you won't have massively inexperienced teammates in any given match, irrespective of whatever tier you place at. Riot also gave us this sweet infographic for how the ranks are structured, and they range from Iron, Bronze, Silver, Gold, Platinum, Diamond, Immortal, and their highest rank, Valorant. All the ranks below the top one are divided into 3 tiers in a similar breakdown to CSGO, although not exactly the same, and a strong positive is that your rank won't actually decay if you're inactive. The symbol will just not be displayed. The days of decaying down to Diamond from Overwatch are not going to be a thing in Valorant, and this makes me very happy. Now let's go through the detail paragraph by paragraph, as there's actually quite a lot of info to absorb. Winning games is the most important factor in gaining rank, but if you perform exceptionally well, your rank can go up faster. Inversely, losing games and performing well below expectations, deduced from your previous matches, will reduce your rank. This is my first moment of pause. Essentially, there is performance-based ELO in Valorant, which for various reasons could cause some problems, which I'll explain in a moment. But for now, let's carry on. Your personal performance will have a greater impact on the early evaluation of your skill, but will decrease in importance when compared to wins as we hone in on your skill over time. Now, this performance-based ELO only really impacts you when you're first getting placed, which is better than it being constant for sure. As you play more, wins become the swing factor. The reason why personal stats as a rank determining factor can be a bad thing is the roles for good players are not all the same on a team. An entry fragger, for example, will have worse stats than someone who baits said player. In a team context, that baiting is done on purpose, with the first guy in's entire job being to get info, maybe frag, and then open up a site and get traded by those following them in. By its very nature, as an entry, this will mean you will die for free more often than anybody else, despite this role being one of the most important in a diffuse scenario game type. The downside of having stat-based ranking, even for just a relatively short period of time, should be obvious. Nobody is going to want to trash their stats for the sake of the team, especially in solo queue, so baiting for said stats might be rife, especially at the start. This is a problem if your goal is to actually learn how to play properly, which you would hope a ranking system would reflect the higher you go up. I could be worried about nothing, but it has played out like this in other games already, so I expect it to be very similar here, unfortunately. Let's move on. Competitive mode also measures how decisively you win or lose. We figure if there is a benefit to your rank that comes from playing your best for the entire match, it will incentivize you to stay in the fight and not throw games. This is actually a really good touch. If you're losing, you want to make it as close as possible to not lose as much rank as you might if you just gave up and got steamrolled. This will incentivize people to actually try. They continue. For those at the Valorant rank level, winning and how decisive games are won or lost will be the only factor we measure, because at the highest levels of competitive play, we trust you and your teammates have earned your way there. So basically, if you get to max rank, your stats aren't important, only the result and the manner of said result. That's really good. Returning to stats affecting your rank, Riot also expanded with factoring in your total performance helps us better detect smurfs, prevent rank boosting, and get an accurate display of your skill rank much quicker. This way you'll have more trust that you're playing in balanced matches with players that actually have earned their ranks. Stopping smurfs is a very common justification for performance-based ranking, and it can work, especially when we're just talking about mechanics. Overwatch had a very similar system for years, and the reason it was really bad in that game is the same reason it might be bad here. Yes, it will make smurfing harder and make boosting your friends more difficult, but it will encourage people to play for themselves rather than as a whole unit in a given match, particularly if a match doesn't start off well. There's no perfect solution, and it is encouraging that as you play more and more, this will have less and less of an impact on you, but as with all these kinds of systems, only time will really tell. Now let's talk about playing in groups. Riot says planting the spike fight can be more fun with friends, so you can queue into competitive matchmaking with a party of up to 5 people. We want players to feel supported when playing in a team of up to 5 because we see it as a key part of competitive play in Valorant. But whoever you party with must be within 2 ranks or 6 tiers from you. This requirement is to help ensure that there isn't a huge skill disparity in games where one player is clearly above or below the average skill of other players in the match. Now, this 6-tier system for parties is actually quite generous, which I think is a good thing. No friendship group is made up of people entirely from the same skill band, and other ranking systems, notably Overwatch, have made it too prohibitive to play together if there is a skill gap present. But going back to how generous it is, 6 tiers means that if you're, say, the top rank Valorant, you can still play with friends as low as Diamond 1, which is way more forgiving. As the bot that will likely get carried by my better friends, this makes me very happy. This next part, though, gives me real pause. We've also taken steps to ensure that you're on a level playing field regardless of your queue size. Our competitive matchmaking takes into account your pre-made party size, and automatically optimizes your match to favour similar pre-made sizes on the opposing team. Now, it's very common for this sentiment to be held by a lot of players. Teams shouldn't play solos because a pre-made is a massive advantage. I hear that argument, but I'll counter it thusly. Team play is actually more accurate to how the game is meant to be played. If your solo rank is the same as the one you'd get from playing in a pre-made, you'll essentially have to work harder for the same placing as you'll only be playing other pre-mades. On one hand, fine, that's your choice, but on the other, if it's just way easier to get the same rank in solos or duos, why would anyone even want to play in a pre-made? The truth is, they won't. Overwatch has already proved that. With that comes the side effect of even high-ranked players not knowing basic principles of the actual game, which again happens in Overwatch until pretty much top 500. That's not me saying that, that's Frido and Liam and countless others who got to GM and top 500 in that game. This is not a popular opinion. Most of you will think teams should only play other teams, and you yourself will either play solo or duo. That's fine. But the player base's understanding of the game will suffer for it. I will say this, because Valorant is a diffused game mode, the existing knowledge of the player base is already higher than it would have been if the game was something entirely new, so that might work in its favour. As a final summary, there's some really good stuff and some not so good. No ranking system is perfect. I am still going to immediately jump in when it launches, which apparently is very soon. No firm date, but if I had to guess from what they said, with the next patch, whenever that is. Moving on, let's talk about Omen for a moment. During a stream, Riot developer Morello had this to say.
His blind can definitely feel underwhelming at times. Omen is the character we think could use the most, not just balance ult, but he's not quite finished yet. We're going to be doing more with Omen. Is he actually getting a visual update? A little bit, a small visual update. We're getting, I'm not going to say much about it, but we're going to improve his experience and visuals a bit. We're not going to change what his kit does, but we're going to make this, we're going to do some more work on the skills themselves. We're not going to be like, his smoke's no longer a smoke, it's this, or his blind's no longer a blind, it's this. It's like, but we could do a lot more to make targeting the smokes feel better. The smoke itself is really unreliable, or the blind is really unreliable. The ult has weird rules about sound and feels really dangerous or free in some cases, and we think we can do a lot to fix those things. Does Omen have some invulnerability stepping out of ult? Yeah, but it's a little weird. That's another thing we want to fix up.
Basically, Omen is getting some cosmetic but very impactful changes. His kit is not changing, but the very important visual and audio cues for his abilities are still being worked on. Do casting his smokes and his paranoia look too similar? Yeah, maybe, but that will be changed very soon. Expect his ult to be a bit more consistent too. As Morello notes, after the changes, it should feel less all or nothing, terrifying or useless. I really like that Riot are still working all the time to make the game better. It's already feeling very polished as it is. And that's about all for the moment. Let me know how you feel about the ranked mode and the changes coming to Omen down below. I really hope you enjoyed the video and found the info useful. If you like the content on this channel, please hit that subscribe button and click the bell icon so you get notified when we upload. Until next time!